Hello, everyone. It is the Galactic Oasis Unfiltered, and I am Bridget.
I'm Lisa.
And I am Nikki.
And today we are here.
Do you have some?
That reminds me of Princess Bride. Yeah. Today we are here. We're talking about
Hmm.
inspirited items. And the word inspirited is a polite term for possessed or enchanted or,
Haunted.
haunted. There we go.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
So, inspirited items it is. And yeah, Lisa, if you'd like to share what began this conversation.
Yeah.
So the three of us were together doing some people call it vegan taxidermy, aka stuffed animal taxidermy, fleshy taxidermy. And the three of us had over time, the last few months, gathered some stuffed animals like Beanie Babies and things like that. And there's this one, and so we had a whole bag of them. And we're all sorting through them and choosing which ones we want to do. And I happened to pick this cute little hamster up out of the bag, and he just had the cutest little smile. But it's like his whole demeanor. He had personality. He has personality.
Mhm.
And I thought it was just me. And they're like, oh, yeah, no, totally. Right. So we talked about how he would look really good in like a top hat. He's very debonair. He needs a top hat, a cane, maybe a monocle, even.
Mhm.
Right. Cummerbund, like very stately little hamster. And we don't know what his life was before this, but we do know that he did not like what we ended up picking in lieu of said original outfit that we had planned for him. I had actually, want to hand me the board? We
His
were
face
covering.
already changed.
Yee!
It does. Now he has this like,
No, he didn't want to be on camera.
yeah, you
Mhm.
Sorry.
could, he has
Mhm.
No.
this.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
didn't want to be on camera.
Mhm.
But I was supposed to cut fabric for this with the stripes going this way, but on the board facing the long way for him to be on the board. And when I did this, I'm like, oh man. And Nikki said, well, you could put him in prison. He didn't like that very much. We even had a piece of jewelry that would make great handcuffs, and I was going to like make a little sign for him. He looked miserable, and I thought it was just me. So I brought that up to both of them and individually, like Bridget first, I said, can you tell me something? Like, he does not look happy. And you looked at him and went, no, he is not. But his whole demeanor changed. And then Nikki came in, we asked her the same thing. And after we took the little fake handcuffs off of him, he was like, oh, you could feel it. You could see it. Like his whole entire look changed. And I know it sounds
Mhm.
crazy to other people, like you're making it up. It's all in your head. You're projecting, but no, 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 no. This little hamster has a spirit. He has a personality. He has lived 1,000 lives before he got to us. And so no handcuffs and no jail for our little hamster friend and no more camera time. He doesn't want to be on the camera. Do you see this look right
No, he did
Mhm.
not. He
now?
did
Right?
not like that look.
He
Yeah,
didn't
his
look.
face
Yeah,
changed when you held him up to the camera. It went
he's
from like
sorry.
to,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be on the camera. So we will honor his wishes and he's going to get his top hat and a cane. And we'll see about the monocle. He hasn't really decided. So yeah, that's not the only example that we have throughout our lives. I'm curious to hear what else we have
Mhm.
to share because I think that between the three of us, there are probably hundreds of stories to share like that.
Well, yeah, when we were leaving the Galactic that night, I was telling you about it's a gnome riding a bluebird that I found at Michael's, the craft store. Okay. And I just fell in love with it. And I was like, you have to come home and be with this gourd fairy house that I have as a little I have like fairy lights on it and stuff. And it's a very beautiful enchanted object. And this gnome hops around every day. Every day it's in a different position all of its own accord. It's not because of like people walking by or like it getting brushed. None of that's happening. It's like he's going for a ride and it
Mhm.
moves all the time. And but you think of things as being inanimate, right? Like it's just a gnome on a bluebird that was cast in resin, dot, dot, dot. But like, if we all agree that we're walking around in meat suits, what animates a meat suit? It's not any different than a stuffed animal, or, well, I mean, it is different
Yeah.
molecularly, yes, and cellularly, but the idea, right, is not very
Yeah.
different then. Right?
Yeah.
Things get animated. So, yeah, I'm curious. I mean, I've had things that were in the home that have either been gifted or that I like found somewhere and I was like, you cannot stay. Like,
Mm-hmm.
nope.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually been in antique stores and have picked up objects, and like you can almost feel what the enchantment is because all of a sudden you're like entranced. And then I like look down, I'm like,
Yes.
why am I carrying around this thing?
Yep.
No, you are not coming in my car. No, you are not coming into my home. But like the
Mm-hmm.
power and the magnetism of these things, Yeah.
Yeah.
How
Now
about
the
you?
and our ancestors have believed in that, and we're going to
Mhm.
get into that just as a little teaser for everybody. We're going to talk about like poppets and iconography and whether that is, you know, modern church related or ancient, ancient before man-made religions and cultural acceptance of inspiriting something for protection or abundance or sexual fertility. This has
Mhm.
been a common theme throughout human history.
Yeah. The first thing that I thought of in terms of like for me, I would use not Inspirited. I like these things were fucking haunted. But when I was a kid, I had some Barbie dolls, and which I know I've shared the story, but um I was upstairs. We lived in a bungalow, so it was like you come upstairs and then you had like the little like half railing, and so it wasn't like quite a hallway, but I was playing with my Barbies before school and I had one Ken doll and Barbie and Ken were sitting at the breakfast table and they had an argument and Barbie was like, "Fuck you, get out of my house." And I like chucked him down the hallway and I remember he hit the wall. And because he had, they're Barbie dolls. So because he was sitting at a chair, like his legs were, stuck in this position. So he's on his back with his legs up against the wall because she had thrown him out of the house. And then it was time to go to school. I come home from school, I go upstairs, and the stand, I had a microwave for my Barbie doll. The stand with the microwave was knocked over. The microwave was on the floor. Ken was still down the hall, but he's now lying on his side. His pants are around his ankles. His shoes were off, right? So I'm like, Mom, and I don't know, 7. I'm like, who was up here? No one. No one's been up there all day, right? My grandmother had come over. They were hanging out. My brother was a little baby at the time. So she's like, nobody's been up there. The door's been closed. I was like, fuck this. I ripped him in two and threw him in the garbage. I wanted nothing to do with that Ken doll. And I never played with another Ken doll or like boy doll ever again. Like they're like, fuck them. But I would, to this day, I have absolutely no idea how that happened.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but
Yeah.
it's scary.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. These things happen.
They
Yes.
were
Yeah.
very scary. And to this day, I have no explanation.
Yeah. Well, and I know that the three of us have been in antique stores or
Mhm.
oddity shops and things like that. And all three of us will pick up on the energy of like a section that we're passing through, and you could like feel the energy shift. And there's like rooms I'm like, I'm not going in that room. Like I don't even want to deal with whatever's in there, right? I remember going into a local oddity shop and there are these amazing, very old and very possessed and spirited, whatever you want to call it, haunted marionette dolls.
Oh,
and they were gorgeous. And they were like enchanting, like, take me home. Like, I was looking at other things and I could feel it. Like, over here, over here. I know you can hear me. And I look over and I'm like, holy shit, you are beautiful. And no.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kept feeling like there's a partner, and not even looking for it. I felt the partnered doll, because there was a male female doll set on the other side of that shop. Also, like, well, you could take me home. No, I don't want either one of you coming home. But I know what you mean, Bridget, about like, ooh,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
how did this get in my hand? Why am I walking around with this? Because it's like it was very much that energy of like it's gonna suck you right in. I'm like, that is some demonic shit right there. No, thank you.
Yeah, we were, I won't say the name of
Mm,
the curiosity shop, but they had a full articulated skeleton, like in it's kind of was like a coffin box with like a plexiglass cover over it. And we walked by and the skeleton was just ever so slightly like weaving back and
mhm,
forth. And I'm like,
mhm,
you see this, right?
mhm,
Because he shouldn't be moving at all. Like
mhm.
he's like not hanging he's like stuck to the thing. And so we said something to the owner of the store and he looked at us like we had lobsters climbing out of our ears. Like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, look at him. Like you can see he's like actively moving, you know?
Mhm.
So yeah.
And it was not a trick of the light.
It
That
was
wasn't
not, he was
nothing.
moving.
Yeah. Yep.
It was alive. It
Yeah.
was animated.
I can say that it's really nice having people in my world over more recent years that are also aware of and tapped into these things, because when you're by yourself, like when I've been by myself years ago, I used to think I was crazy. Like, I'm making shit up. This isn't real. There's no way this is real. Like, I'd start questioning reality and then realize, like, no, it is real. And I know what I know. I see what I see and I know what I'm feeling. So to have other people in your world are like, oh no, I saw that too.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's like, that shit's real. It does exist. Yeah. And not just like haunted dolls or stuffed animals, but it could be anything. I mean, think about when we make food for somebody. Like, you can feel the energy. For some of us, we can feel the energy or the mood or the intent around the object of
Hmm.
food, or even a made object like a piece of artwork that somebody might have made for you. Like, that's why they say made with love,
Or
right?
hate.
Or hate or disdain, right? We can feel those things.
Hmm.
So you should never make a meal angry, unless you're trying to do harm, I
Mm,
guess.
yeah.
But
Is that why it's hard to digest?
Yeah.
yeah, there you go.
And it never
Hmm.
turns out right. Like when you're like hate baking or, like rage cooking,
Rage cook.
it doesn't come out right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just doesn't taste good.
That has to be its own cooking show. Baking with rage.
Yep.
I mean,
Uh,
I can think of so many sad brownie mixes or like brownie
Hmm. Hmm.
attempts, it's like, I just want a brownie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
is that like the PMS brownie or the
Yeah, yeah,
emotional breakdown
all of it. Yeah.
kind of
Just,
brownie? Feeding the
brownies,
sadness.
yeah, they're like the thing that you can't screw up. So when you screw up a brownie, like it feels like the fabric of reality is no more. Like how did that
Yeah.
happen? But when I think about these objects, I mean, what is the name of the famous exorcist couple?
Oh, Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Yeah, look how many items they had in their
I would love to
collection.
see their museum.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
there's a the Witch Museum, is that what it is by me? I've never
Yeah.
been in there, but they supposedly have a demon trapped, right?
Hmm.
Why you're
Hmm.
They do.
They
advertising that, I
do.
don't know.
Yeah.
And then, that place that we were at years ago, and they had that really weird, it was supposed to be like a ceremonial object, but no, it was like there was a djinn in there of some sort, and it was not happy
Yes.
about it, you know?
Yes.
Um, a genie in a bottle, but that
Mhm.
is its own myth and legend. And like all of the items at the Vatican.
Yeah.
That's another one, I would absolutely love. I know I shouldn't say it'll never happen. I find it highly unlikely, but I would love to be able to see like the artifacts and the library and just all the history that the Vatican has, tucked away. And I'm sure most of it's in languages I don't understand, so I don't really understand I wouldn't be able to like not understand, but really take in and feel the brevity of. But yeah, like imagine there's a lot of really cool stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, and Bridget, you mentioned myth and legend. Well, things become myth and legend because they are based on something in reality.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I was always, even as a child, fascinated with the jinn.
Yeah,
Very
Jen is
much.
a cool one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, really, when you think about the entire story that encircles them, it's like it's all about our projections and like
Yes.
what we're lusting after, greeting after, and they're like, do you know how long I've been around? Do you know how many times I've seen your kind do the thing? Oh, yeah, you want money again. Oh, you want them to love you. There's so much more to life. Dot, dot, dot.
Hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
but how many times does anyone ever say, like, what would you see being the best for me? Or
Mm-hmm.
like just having a conversation with this like really intelligent being, that like can see way beyond our perception.
Hmm.
Yeah, like I want to hear that story sometime.
Yes. Right.
The Jin says, or like something, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, the point of this conversation is like, are we paying attention to what
Mm-hmm.
comes in and out of our homes? You talk about preparing meals, but what about things that you're donating? Are you
Yes,
Yeah.
clearing
exactly.
them? Are they like
Right.
full of love when you're dropping them off? Or are you just like, F this, get it out of my house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, it's like paying attention to not only like what we're interacting with, but like how we're interacting. Like when I am, entranced by something, how embodied was I in that moment? What was I distracted by in that moment? Like
Mm-hmm.
things are paying
Mm-hmm.
attention all the time and like to have fun with us when we're like not paying attention.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
I noticed I love grabbing stuff off of the side of the road,
Hmm.
like people really get rid of some great things. People throw out a lot of haunted chairs. Like
Hmm.
there's a lot of haunted chairs, which you
Mm.
don't wouldn't really think of like a chair being a haunted object,
But
but
a lot of butts have touched that
a lot of
chair.
butts have touched that chair. But
Right.
there's a lot of them, and they're just sitting on the side of the road, like,
Mhm.
what dingbat's going to take me home next?
Yes. Well, and everything is quantumly entangled. That's what I love about, science is able to prove the things that we as humans have actually theoretically known.
Mm-hmm.
Culturally speaking, there are some differences, but really at the end of it, at the bottom of it all, there we are quantumly entangled. It doesn't matter what you call it, right? So in certain religions, they call it a certain thing, and certain cultures will call it something else, but really everything is inspirited.
Mhm.
Everything has an energy to it. So I don't care if you're talking about quantum science stuff or other people want to say woo woo, it's really the same thing.
Mhm.
Everything is quantum entangled.
Mhm.
And I'm really excited to see where all that science takes us to be able to prove it on the proverbial paper. But yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about like the quantum realm of spirituality and poppets and how we can imbue our own energy into things. Or to your point, Bridget, also like I've had friends that were donating things. I'm like, I hope that you cleared that and cleansed that before you gave that away, whether that's to, donation center or another person. Otherwise, you are quantumly still connected to that item.
Mm-hmm.
And those are like open freeways. Those are open channels of communication and energy exchange. Same
Yep.
thing with relationships, whether they're romantic, platonic, work, whatever, people, places, and things. We are all connected. So when you end a chapter of a relationship, a work relationship, doesn't matter what it is, like there's a ceremonial cutting of those cords and cleaning that energy up. And it doesn't mean that you can't ever open that again. I talk about like one-way valves in a connection. Like sometimes it's like, well, I want to have a connection with this person, but in a healthy way, but I don't want them to have access to my energy all the time because they're really draining. Okay. Doesn't mean that they're a bad person and doesn't mean it's a bad relationship of whatever sort it is. But I want to be able to open that flow valve, that one-way valve, to make that connection when I want to make that connection. When I don't, I can close that and protect my energy so I'm not feeling drained all the time from whatever that relationship or work environment might be.
So it's interesting on like what would be the word for that? You're using the word quantum, but there's a concept, spiritual. I'm like, this could go off the rails real quick. However, to your point about the one-way valve, okay? So there's a thought form around like Velcro. So things that we don't have a part of don't stick to us. Things that we do have a part to stick to us. So when I'm listening to you talk about like people that have that energy signature, if you will, of like, you know, some languages like vampirism, or like drains. Yeah, I don't know, whatever word you want to use for it. But why would we notice unless we don't have an end of Velcro to it? Does that make sense?
I think so.
Yeah. So it's interesting because in the quantum, like particles will just, right, do their thing until there's some type of magnetism. And
Mm-hmm.
so in this realm of consciousness, it's like how many things are trying to get our attention. And, I had a conversation earlier where someone was using the language of like, well, I manifested something bad. And I was like, that's not really possible. We manifest things that we're either ready for or not ready for. Like, really, you know what I mean? So, like, yeah, it's interesting when we think of like the web of connection and how some things like work for us and other things don't, and
Mm-hmm.
how to navigate those corridors, which again, these enchanted items, like when I get if something comes my way, no, we are not creating that. But yes, if something were to come my way and I'm not ready for it, why do I have to like use the language of like that thing is bad for me?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
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 Yeah, so it's like just I don't know, like in this conversation it makes me think about like that sweet little hamster was just so like neutral and happy about life. It was like I'm just me. I'm just me, just doing my thing. What do you mean you put handcuffs on me? And now it's like entire demeanor changed, right? Because of like that interaction. And like thank you for being present too. So you were talking earlier about like, well, people might think that there's something weird about me noticing that, but it's like, what if you hadn't noticed that? And
Right.
now this little guy is going to get affixed to a board for however long, in a state that it doesn't choose to be in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because this lady doesn't want to be thought of as crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I know I'm going off the rails into the weeds a little bit, but it's like it's such an important contemplation
Mm-hmm.
because we're in like a changing of the guard right now, if you will, in like the whole cosmic conversation. And like things have operated under certain programs for a long, long time. And those programs benefited by people denying their intuition or denying what they were seeing or like invalidating
Yes.
people's sense of reality.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like when I think of
Mm-hmm.
trapping things that are just neutral in the situation, that hamster had nothing to do with us. You know what I mean? We picked him up and made him a part of our reality,
Mm-hmm.
and now, like, it's our responsibility to treat that inanimate object well while it's in our
Mm-hmm.
care.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, but like if this were 100 years ago, well, one, we wouldn't have Zoom. Two,
No.
I don't even know if they had stuffing back then. It may have been filled with like,
They
cattail
definitely
fiber or
didn't have glue
something.
guns
Mm-mm.
Exactly.
and
But
glitter.
we would be in jeopardy having this type
Yeah.
of conversation. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So but because of like how we may have been in jeopardy, how many other things didn't like get treated well because we were trying to avoid our own part. Does that make
Mm.
sense?
Yeah.
I've always wanted to, I've always wanted to time travel and go back in time. But, we look at
You
like old
did. That's
Victor.
why you're stuck here.
I know it sucks. Um, but looking at like how many like haunted Victorian dolls, right?
Oh,
Or we see them and we're like, God,
oh
that
my
thing is
God.
terrifying, right?
Yes.
Did kids think they were haunted? Like, are we just because of like our
Or maybe the
contact,
kids are the ones haunting them.
you know?
Maybe they weren't haunted until
Um,
the kids died
that's
and possessed the
possible.
doll.
That's
Maybe they were
possible.
absorbing what was happening in the environment.
Mm-hmm.
But even
Like
it's
we
like
do.
we do, but it's like you see some of them and you're just like,
Do you hear
what's
my
that?
enchanted object that's just moving right now all on its own? That's my
Yeah, what
music
is that?
box.
Oh,
So we hit
No.
record with something. Yeah, it just started playing all
Wow.
on its own when we were talking about
Okay.
that.
Also creepy.
Yeah.
yeah, music
Yeah.
boxes are creepy.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like the dolls.
Just like the dolls. But yeah, I've always wondered that because it's like you don't like there's a lot of, stuffed animals and toys and stuff and you're like, "Oh, this is cute." But Victorian dolls, like hands down, not one of them is cute.
Not cute.
No. And like were the kids like, "Hey, thanks. You used an entire year's wage to buy this for me, so I guess I'll be excited about it." You know what I mean? Like
Better than the rock that they were playing
exactly.
with the day before.
Yes.
And the stick.
So I've always wondered that.
It's an upgrade.
But then there's the story of Robert the doll.
Mm.
Do you know Robert the doll? So he's a haunted doll. He's a very famous haunted doll. He's very creepy looking. He's in a museum, and I think the museum's down in Florida. But you have to ask permission to take his picture.
Mm.
If you say any, like, there's all these rules and regulations and stuff. You have to be very, very kind and respectful. And the amount, like, they have, like, I don't even know how many thousands of letters from people that like badmouthed him and bad things happen. That's Robert the doll.
Oh, okay.
But like you say something to him and you're like, that's bullshit. And then you're driving home and you get into a car accident. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's not,
Well,
I
he's
don't,
rumored to be the real life inspiration for Chucky the movie.
mm-hmm.
And he has a little dog. Key West, Florida.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, Key West. Well, no wonder.
Yeah.
Wait, was he from Key West or that's just where he ended up?
That's where he ended up. But it
Oh.
was like he got the doll
He was
or the
made in
kid.
Germany.
Yep.
Oh,
And it was a gift to
interesting.
this kid. And then weird things started happening with the kid. And like the kid was like locked in, like Robert's my friend, but it like went beyond childhood into adulthood. And like he just acted very weird. Yeah, it's a really
Mm,
interesting story.
mm,
Okay, so ugh, I'll tell you that just looking at the picture, like
yeah.
the vibration off of that was not settling. Um, so following Gene's death, okay, well, first let's back up the truck. Throughout his
Hmm.
childhood, whenever something went wrong, Gene would famously blame the doll, saying, I didn't do it, Robert did.
Ah.
This is interesting given the nature of
Mm-hmm,
what we were
mm-hmm.
just talking about. Okay. Following Gene's death, that was the child, the doll was kept by subsequent owners who reported strange activities such as giggling, footsteps and the doll moving on its own, and changes in its facial expression. In 1994, the doll was donated.
She snorts. I love it. Oh boy. Here we go.
The doll was donated. They were like, please, we beg of you, take this off our hands, to the Key West Art and Historical Society and put on public display. I mean, that's kind of random. Well, how did, like, why? I don't know if Jean lived in Key West. I'm not sure. But anyways, yeah, I mean, so this, doll has been taking on a lot of blame.
Shit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For a long, long
Mm.
time. So yeah, I mean, it
Mhm.
could have been an imaginary friend that, didn't work out so well. Maybe the doll got sick of Jean's crap. You're always blaming me. Why don't you take responsibility for your life and your actions?
That could be.
Mhm.
That
Who
could be.
knows? Right? We don't know.
Or
But
whoever made the doll back in Germany was like,
You know? Well, and that also reminds me, there was an episode of Unsolved Mysteries about a haunted chair. Speaking of haunted chairs,
Mhm.
and it was at like some, pub in Ireland or whatever, and it was this guy's favorite chair. And it was his chair, and nobody else was allowed to sit in it. And then he died, and other people then would make jokes and like, oh, they'd sit in his chair, and every person that sat in his chair died. Like it was like quick, like you're walking home and you get hit by a car, you have a heart attack. So the chair actually now sits on the wall so no one can sit in it. But it's like a legit haunted chair. But it's not even haunted, it's cursed. Like,
Yeah,
this
there,
is
yeah,
mine,
there you go. Cursed.
and you're not going to have access
Yeah.
to it now that I'm dead.
That's a whole nother facet of this
Mhm.
conversation, a
Mhm.
whole nother little rabbit hole. Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly.
Curses. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Still all ties right back into the energy and the quantum, but
Mhm.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, and so back to that Velcro. If we
Mm-hmm.
believe that that's going to happen,
Mhm.
which came first? Chicken or the
And
egg?
then how does it explain the people who don't believe in it? For like that is a bunch of
Hooey.
hoopla and it's a farce and I don't believe it and it's bullshit and then you're dead.
Yep. Yep.
Unless
Who's
that's just
laughing now,
the cover,
motherfucker?
right? Unless that's just the cover for, because it has to be an innate, like a deep belief.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So if I'm putting on a front, like, you're not going to get me. I'm not as scared, but inside I'm like, oh God, please not me. What is it going to attract to? The oh God, please not me. Because that's what I really believe. You know what I mean? So yeah.
All valid. Yes,
Mhm.
all of it.
Yeah,
And then we
exactly.
can jump to the iconography, though. Like, I don't
Mhm.
believe that this picture's crying, but I'm looking at it and it's crying, right? Or the statue or whatever. And like we are saying earlier about like thousands of people will flock to something or believe in it, which then just perpetuates the same and
Mhm.
it actually creates it. But it's
Exactly.
chicken egg. What came first? It was
Mhm.
already doing that. Somebody said it's doing that. Now 10 people, now 100 people, now hundreds of thousands of people.
Well, according to the work of Greg Braden, if I can remember this correctly, because, life, but I think it's something around 144,000 people, 150,000 people. So a thought form goes out into the collective. Okay. It's irrelevant until enough energy builds around it. So if
Mhm.
144,000 people lock in on the same thought at the same time, boom, now it's
Right,
manifested. So when you
right.
think of those pilgrimages to those
Yes.
places, like hundreds of thousands of people, it's a
Hmm.
potato chip. Yes, it may look like Jesus, but like, how do we really know what Jesus looks like?
It's a
They
collective
didn't have
thought form, but it is
exactly.
also a collective thought form.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they didn't have
yeah,
cameras back then, folks. And like, who was really drawing? And like, how did they know that that was Jesus when they just like
yeah.
drew a picture? I don't
Mm-mm.
know. I have a lot of questions. I'm not saying it's
Yes.
true or false. However, but these are the things that live in our consensus reality. I don't know. They could be
Yep.
questionable.
Yep. Definitely more questions than answers.
Always.
Mhm.
Always stay in the question.
Yeah.
That's where the fun is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're answered, it's over. You're not curious anymore.
Hmm. Yeah, and all of this can go right back to anything with any religion. When you believe in a certain god, goddess, or other, or in some religions, saints that represent certain things, right? So you have your gods, goddesses, and saints of like prosperity, abundance, fertility, protection, finding lost objects. Like every culture has their particular entity for that, you
Mm.
know? Or like to sell a house, like was it is it Saint Joseph that you
Saint
put
Joseph.
upside down
Mhm.
in the dirt when you're selling a house, you sell it quicker, you know? Like,
I've
I mean
never heard
that's
that.
a modern day
Yeah.
example, you know? Yeah.
Huh. That's fun.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
think there's an Italian charm that you can do where if you're buying a house and you want to
Mm,
claim it as yours, you throw 3 nickels into the yard and like say your incantation. Like
nice.
that's my house, you know?
Yeah.
Well, it is, but again, back in the quantum, what are you
Hmm.
affecting with that?
Right.
Hmm. Hmm.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know? Like,
There's always cause and effect.
yes. Yes,
Hmm.
there is. And
Yep.
sometimes we are not ready for that, you know?
Hmm.
Because yeah, you couldn't even imagine. Like, yeah. So
No,
here's
that's when you come home and you find your Ken doll laying on his side with his pants around his ankles and his shoes off.
well, I mean, that's why the Ouija board, right? So
Hmm.
many
Hmm.
people have an aversion to Ouija boards because of that very thing. Like how many spirits get stuck, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So,
Because it doesn't come with proper instructions and it doesn't
No.
come with a mentor to tell you the safety guidelines in interacting with other realms.
Hmm.
It's not a freaking for fun board game.
mhm.
And that's how it's marketed. And it's
Mhm.
not, it's a serious tool for communicating.
Mm. Mm,
And
mm,
when it's treated as a fun object and it's trivial and
It's
it,
a party game.
yeah, no, not a game, folks. This is not a game. This is not a test.
yeah.
Yeah. Treat the shit with respect that it deserves, just like that doll.
Yes.
Robert.
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 Robert the doll.
Right. We respect you, Robert. Hmm. Yeah.
Oh, you're on mute, Bridget.
Nope. Yep. Can't hear you.
Oh, I
There you
was
go.
did you
There
hear
you
me
go.
when I was like, "Is this thing on?" No.
No.
Oh. Yeah.
The irony. Oh.
Mhm. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, pay attention if you get a sixth sense about something that you pick up or notice or like just am like, something's not right. Pay attention to that, you know?
Yep. Trust yourself.
Yep.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then ask your fellow weirdos for confirmation if you must.
Yep.
Like our poor little hamster friend that almost ended up in handcuffs. He is not.
Hmm.
Yeah, and thank you for the inspiration.
Yeah. I
All
know.
right.
Meanwhile, the two that I taxidermied, cut their heads off and now they're mounted on my wall in my bathroom.
You're so cute. That was fun.
And
Yeah.
you like sewed 3 different ones together.
Major did.
My
Yes.
Floyne. Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
He's doing well. He's happy. He still has a smile. He's okay.
that's good.
Good.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what it's all about.
It is exactly. Consent,
Mm.
consent, consent.
Yes,
Yes. Consent. There you go. It's a good part. Good point to end on.
yes.
Trying to say
Mhm.
too many words in one.
I hear you. Well, until next time, folks, thank you for tuning
Yes,
in.
yes. Thank you.
Bye. Oop, maybe not. Hold on. I can never stop this.